Hey everyone, welcome back to the Young Adult Diary. I'm your host, Austin Poling, and we are going over our series of the 21 qualities to help build a strong foundation in your young adult years. And this is based off the book, The 21 Irrefutable Qualities of a Leader by John C. Maxwell. But I also believe that these qualities aren't just good for a leader, but good for every single young adult, and that is why we're going over this. Today is probably my favorite quality that needs to be in every single young adult's life, and this quality is commitment. And commitment really separates the young adults that are doers and not just dreamers. So I'd like to start with two stories of young adults who showed great commitment. They're in different sectors of the world. One is business, one is social media / YouTube. And so I would like to start with talking about Emma Chamberlain. Now, some people are thinking, probably surprised that I know who that is, but yes, I know who Emma Chamberlain is. And now jumping into her story that some people may or may not know. So when people look at Emma Chamberlain today, they see the Met Gala, the brand deals with Louis Vuitton, the coffee company, the podcasts, but that is not where her story starts. It starts with a teenage girl sitting in her bedroom just uploading videos that literally barely anybody watched. She didn't blow up overnight like so many people want to do. It would be awesome if this podcast blew up just right overnight, but definitely not going to happen. Podcasting is the long game. But so she didn't blow up overnight. She spent hours just alone She spent hours alone just going over her own content and doing all the editing herself. She had jump cuts. She had some awkward zoom-ins. She had raw conversations all before that became a trend. And she posted constantly. And the thing is, there was no guarantee that any of that would work out. That's the key. Motivation is what gets you to start, but commitment is what keeps you going when no one is clapping. With Emma, she didn't create because the numbers were big. She created because she loved it. She believed in the process before the results. And that's where us as young adults, we have that all wrong. We want the results without the process, but that is not what she did. Now, over time, that commitment reshaped the entire creator landscape. She became a blueprint for authenticity. She didn't follow trends, she set them. And when the YouTube world tried to put her in a box, she reinvented herself, building Chamberlain Coffee, entering fashion, and evolving her voice through her podcast. Emma's story isn't about a singular viral moment. It's about thousands of quiet moments where she showed up when no one cared. That's what separates dreamers from doers. Commitment isn't loud, it's quiet, it's stubborn, and it compounds. That's why Emma isn't just an influencer, she is an absolute icon. And I can't believe that I just said that about her when I probably haven't watched any of her videos, but I know that she's a doer and not a dreamer. The next person I would like to talk about his name is Ben Francis. You may not know his name, but you know the brand. And Ben Francis is now the billionaire founder of Gymshark, a global fitness brand worn by athletes literally all over the world. But if you rewind the clock, it all started in his parents' garage. No investors, no employees, just a sewing machine, a website he coded himself, and a 19-year-old kid working night shifts at a pizza shop. He'd finish work, sew shirts, pack orders, drop them off at the post office, and then go to class day after day. That's not glamorous, but that's commitment. Motivation would have run out probably after a few weeks, but Ben didn't rely on feeling inspired. He relied on actually doing the work and commitment. His breakthrough came at a fitness expo where he sold out of his Gymshark shirts in hours. But instead of treating that like the finish line, he doubled down. He reinvested everything, built better systems, grew slowly and intentionally. When Gymshark got too big for his experience, he stepped down as CEO to learn how to lead better and then came back in that same position. That's what real commitment looks like. It's humility, consistency, and a long game. Ben Francis didn't chase hype. He built a foundation brick by brick through commitment. When motivation fades, and it always does, it comes in waves, commitment is the only thing that keeps the lights on. His story is proof that success isn't made in one big moment. It's made in the thousands of small, unseen ones. And so if you want to be a successful young adult, you have to embody commitment. You have to. There is no way around it. Motivation fades. Commitment is what gets you to that goal. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Now, success looks different for different people. I'm not saying that you're going to be the next Emma Chamberlain or the next Ben Francis with a very large brand, but you will be successful in something if you stay committed. And the nature of commitment, it really starts in the heart. You have to be passionate enough about something to pursue it and stay committed. As a young adult, we're all trying to figure out, what are we going to do with our life? Some of us know. Some of us went to nursing school and were nurses. We stayed committed to that. That is awesome. But a lot of us, we are passionate about a lot of things. And now I'm passionate about coffee. Could I stay committed to coffee for a long-term play of trying to build my life off of that? I personally could not. There are some people that go off and have coffee shops, and that's awesome, but that's not me. I'm passionate about coffee, but you need to find something that you're passionate about that you could also stay committed to. That is a key. And once you find that passion, commitment is then necessary. All right. And now the next thing is that commitment is tested by action. We've all heard the phrase that action speaks louder than words. And this is so true. It might be cliche, but it is so true. Commitment without action is delusional, and you are living in a fantasy. You need to be real with yourself. You need to think that if I am truly committed to something, I will take tangible steps to make it happen. If you do not take those tangible steps, you're not committed. And maybe that's something you shouldn't even be doing. All right. And the next thing is that commitment opens the door to achievement. Once you have the passion, once you have the commitment, and once you have the action, it opens the door to achievement. It opens the door to success. And a lot of young adults have trouble getting to this stage because they can't find a passion that they're going to stay committed to. And then if they are, they can't take the action, and it's just very hard. And I would like to add one more note on this, is that commitment is not motivation. Motivation comes and goes in waves. All right. And motivation is good for getting you to do something, but motivation cannot keep you for the long term doing something. That is commitment. That is also discipline. And we're going to get into discipline in a later chapter, but you have to be committed to stay to something. Motivation will fade. And maybe you were wrong about your passion that you chose if you can't stay committed to that. And that may be hard for some people to hear, but if you are not committed to what you think your passion is, maybe you need to choose a different passion to pursue. And there are a couple types of people when it comes to commitment. The first one, they are cop-outs. And I personally don't know a lot of cop-outs as young adults, which I think is really good. But a cop-out is basically someone who has no goals. They don't think about purpose or pursuing things. They're just kind of stuck in the rat race and they don't really care to get out. I personally don't know a lot of people like that, which I think is good for young adults to try and have that passion. But the next group, so many young adults fit into this group, and it is the holdouts. These are the people who have goals. They have somewhere they want to be, but they are so scared of failure that they do not even start. Fear takes over and they won't pursue what they want in life. And they're going to be the person that when they're 80 years old, they're going to look back on life and think about, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I take a chance? And those are your holdouts. Now, holdouts, these are also the judgmental people who make fun of others for chasing their dreams because they are too scared to chase their own. I'm going to say that one more time. Holdouts, those are the judgmental people who judge others who are chasing their dreams because they were too scared to chase their own. When I started this podcast with Tom, I had people make fun of me. I had people talk behind my back. I had people do all this stuff. And those are the same people that are not chasing dreams. All the people that I know that are chasing dreams and have actual goals, when I started this podcast, they supported me. They supported me because they know me. They supported me because they have the same goals. The people that make fun of you when you chase a goal are people that do not chase their own goals. So if you have a goal, but you are afraid of people making fun of you, just know that those people are too afraid to chase their goal, and you should 100% go after that goal. I am telling you to go after that goal. I will support you. There are so many people that will support you, but go after it. You have this one life. Don't be 80 looking back and regretting that you did not chase that dream. So please chase that dream. Stay committed to it. I'm so passionate about that. All right. Now, this next group of people, there are also so many young adults that fit in here. And I want to give props to these people, at least, for they have a goal. They take steps towards that goal. And then they face a roadblock or they have some hardship and then they let go of the goal. Or they pursue the goal, they start, they lose motivation, and then they stop chasing the goal. And now maybe they should have stayed committed and kept chasing that goal. Or maybe they find out that, you know what, that's a passion I'm actually not committed to. But this is, again, one of the big groups that young adults fit in. And please don't be a dropout. Continue to chase that goal. All right. Then you have the last group of people. And these are the all-outs. These are the people who set goals. They take action to pursue them, and they are truly committed for the long haul. They are there to get it done, and they will pay the price to reach those goals. These are the people who believe that the ends justify the means to get there. Now, we're not talking about like world stuff where it's like dominating a country and like, oh, do the ends justify the means to go to war? No. We're not talking that scale. We are talking about paying the price to reach the goals, as in, you know what? You're going to have to skip out on hanging with friends if you want to get something. If you are truly committed, you're going to have to skip out on hanging with friends. You're going to have to skip out on going to parties, maybe even family functions. All right. Now keep your priorities straight, but there are certain things that you need to skip out on if you want to get your goal. You have to pay the price to stay committed to something. It could be, honestly, it could just be, you know what? I'm not going to stay up late watching a TV show. Maybe that's the price you have to pay. Maybe you have to, instead of watching 2 hours of TV, maybe you spend 2 hours pursuing that goal, whether it's more school or writing a screenplay or doing a podcast. I've been really challenged with that of, if I'm truly committed to a podcast, why am I doing these other things? Why am I saying I'm going to record episodes, then at the same time I'm watching a TV episode? It just does not correlate. And I've been convicted of that. And so how do you figure out what you want to do as a young adult? How do you figure out what you're going to stay committed to as a young adult? And the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what can you not stop thinking about every single day? What is that thing on your mind that just can't go away? What consumes your mind? What is there that you can't stop thinking about, that you want to do, that you know you can stay committed to? And then the next question, you need to be honest with yourself. Can you realistically see yourself doing that thing long term? Can you realistically see yourself committed to that passion long term? If you say, yes, I can, that is awesome. You should go for it. If you're like, I think it's going to fade after a month or so, maybe that's something you shouldn't go for. Maybe it's something you should wait on. Maybe you should look at other passions, other options. And another question is, do you have enough grit to keep going when it gets tough? Are you going to be a dropout, or are you going to be an all-out? And the next thing I want to ask is, when you want to stay committed to something, you need to ask the question, will this honor God? As a Christian, when you are figuring out what to stay committed to, you need to ask your question, does this honor God? If the answer is no, don't go towards it. Don't pursue it. Don't even go in that direction. All right, very important question as Christians we need to ask ourselves. And when you find this thing that answers these questions of what you can't stop thinking about, do you realistically see yourself staying long-term at this thing and it honors God? I think you should pursue that thing, stay committed to that thing. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share this with friends. I love this topic of commitment. I could keep going, but I think it's time to close this out. So I would say thank you for listening. Please share it with a friend. And thank you for listening to the Young Adult Diary. I'm your co-host, Dawson Poling. Tom is not here for this, but we'll have some full episodes coming soon. And yeah, thanks so much for taking the time to listen to this or watch this.